watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Vinny Motiwala, with me Shrishti Sharma as well. Shrishti, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Vinny.
Not that much of a good morning for the markets.
Yes.
Nifty still trading in the red, down 3/10 to 0.4% in trade. Trying to make a bait of a comeback, but nothing exciting there. Look at it, it's not managing to go up, to those 22,300 levels. Tried coming there, but nothing exciting that happened there. ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, HUL, Asian Paints among the top losers that are there for the Nifty 50 and top drags that are coming for the Nifty 50. But that's how we're seeing the market. Nothing exciting that is coming in here on this front. So yes, keeping an eye out on that for the next few hours where the market is headed. That'll be something interesting that we'll be keeping an eye out on. But we're surely keeping an eye out on IGL as well. What is that doing? Because IGL, when you look at it, they reported their numbers. It was a bit of a weakish Q4 that we saw from IGL. There was higher operational cost which dragged the EBITDA of the company. But today the stock is buzzing in trade. But roadmap of the company, what's the growth there? What's the outlook there? What is the commentary that we're getting in from the management? To talk all about that, we're joined by Kamal Kishore Chatiwal, the managing director at IndaPAT Gas, joining in with us on the show. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in with us this morning on ET Now. It's a pleasure having you on the show. Let's start by talking about the volumes, right? Volumes in Q4, they have been at around 8.77, the measuring metric when you look at it. And for FY24, it's been around 8.4. Your FY24 exit rate guidance was around 9. So what is it that why were you not able to achieve that, or did you achieve that by the end of this? And what is the volume guidance that you have in terms for Q4 FY25, Q1 FY25 as well as FY25 as a whole?
So our guidance was around 9, but Q4 we could do 8.73. Now we are touching around 9. Next year guidance would be at 9.5 because we have done 8.43 this year, 1.07 CMD per day. Targeting 9.5.
All right. Hi. Good morning, Mr. Chatiwal. This is Shrishti also joining in. On your results in Q4, the unit margins have actually declined sequentially owing to the higher staff expense and some of the other expenses as well. Was there any one-off type of the expense here that we are factoring in?
It was a one-time expense, since that the employee expenses, we gave some incentive to the employees during the Silver Jubilee celebration for their consistent performance for 25 years. That was a one-time expense. In addition to that, the CSR expenses of the internal CSR committee has found that we should locate it and it is expensed. Here we were distributing it in 4 quarters. Now due to this, the entire expense was booked in last quarter when it was done actually. The initial 1 or 2 quarters you do the planning and the expenses take place at the end of the year. That was the reason. Other than that, there is no other thing. You can say that these are the one-time expenses.
And, just taking it further, in the month of March, we saw that, you all witnessed the commentary coming in from the oil minister and the PNGRB coinciding with the price cuts. Now, given that substantial time has now passed, there would have been some sort of a conversation with the ministries as well as the regulators on the same. What is the goal of the regulator here and what is the way forward?
It was, if you see the top 3 players in this segment, IGL, RGS and MGL. If you compare their prices, this is the other 57 players, you will find a huge gap. The prices of other players are very high. Maybe that comment was not specific to individual companies, but for a sector as a whole. Whenever we see over GA, the neighboring GA, the price variation are huge. We are also witnessing that, and some of the GAs it is crossing 100 rupees. Just an example, if I give in some of the GAs, prices are more than 100 rupees per kilo. Whereas if you compare Delhi prices, it is at 70. So there is a huge variation as far as the price of CNG, PNG is concerned across India. And the top 3 players, as I said, IGL, MGL, and RGS, their prices are relatively very competitive. I think I will take it in that spirit that it was a comment for the sector as a whole, the company specific.
Well, Mr. Chatiwal, given the strong cash balance in your books, we know that you have been scouting for acquisitions, and acquisition is important for growth as well. So, what is the update on the same and anything that the company is looking to finalize in this financial year?
And, the consolidation in sector is bound to be there, that given that so many players are there, definitely see that stress in the sector, especially in the newer players, given that the domestic allocation is going down and RLNG, unless you have a better sourcing strategy, it will be a challenge for the newer players. So we see that consolidation will be there. Few offers are there, evaluation with us. We will take a call. They are under evaluation. Cases have come up. We are open to expansion, core segment of CNG. Any opportunity, we will definitely look at it.
Okay, and in your JVs, are you in conversation with other shareholders to acquire their stake?
Yes, we are definitely seeing value in consolidation, especially these belonging to the promoter groups. And some discussions have taken place. In concrete as yet. Yes, offer is there, so we'll be open to it.
All right, Mr. Chatiwal, with this, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and giving us more sense on the earnings gone by as well as the outlook going forward as well. So that was the management of IGL talking about the earnings. And as we can see that despite not a great set in Q4, the stock is roaring in trade today, 6% higher for IGL. But with this, viewers, let's move on. And here's a programming note. And shattering the glass ceiling is not an easy feat for all the women out there. But ET Now has something that can help them face this challenge and move a step forward. We bring you Buy Now, Sell Now Women's Special today with a sharper focus on women's investment goal and ACE experts. Mark your calendar for the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday of every month. So let's get started then. And today is indeed the women's special, so would request all our women viewers to write to us on a WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of the screen throughout the show, as well as you can also write to us on our social media pages, that is X as well as Facebook handles. But before we start taking your queries, viewers, let's welcome on board two of our very special guests, those who are going to be helping you today. Aditya Agarwala is joining us on the technical front as well as on the fundamental side. Sonam Srivastava, who is the founder and portfolio manager of Wright Research, is joining us on the show. Very good morning to both of you and thank you so much for your time. The first query that I have is coming in from Neeta Jaswani. And Aditya, let me take it from you. This query is on IDFC First Bank. Neeta has bought these shares at a price of 84 rupees, and she's having 250 quantity of IDFC First Bank. She wants a 12-month, rather 1-year view on this particular counter.
Good morning, Srishti. Good morning, Vinny. Thanks for having the show, and a happy Women's Day to both of you and fellow guests as well, and all the viewers of ET Now. Coming to the question of IDFC First, she's bought a good bank without a doubt. The stock has seen a decent upside. Numbers have been good. It's just that along with the market correction, stock has also witnessed a bit of profit booking from the highs. And I think this profit taking will continue for some more quarters, Srishti. So nothing to panic here. I think she should continue to hold on to the stock. On the downside, I think stock can test levels of 75 to about 72. Those are strong support levels for the stock. From there, I think the stock will resume its uptrend. On the upside, stock can easily test levels of 100 and plus. Because she has a longer term time horizon, at least a year, I would strongly recommend just stay put with a stop loss just below 70 and look for buying opportunities once stock crosses 80, 85 levels again.
Yeah, I know every day is Women's Day, but this is not Women's Day today, but we are celebrating Women's Day every second and fourth Wednesday, and every day me and Shrishti surely celebrate. But yes, so now, I'm going to come to you with the next query, and this one is from Leena from Mumbai. Holding BEL 700 shares at 185 rupees per share. They are waiting out for the results that will be declared next week as well. So, in terms of what should their strategy be for BEL, how is it looking fundamentally?
Definitely. Before I do that, thanks a lot for having me. I think I've been a big fan of the show for a long time.
Pleasure,
BEL is
having you here as well, Sonam. I believe this is your first time, right? So it's a pleasure having you on the show as well. So welcome on board for Buy Now, Sell Now.
Welcome, Sonam.
Thanks a lot. No, I think BEL as a stock in the industrial equipment segment, it has been a high momentum stock. We've all picked this stock in our momentum portfolios for a while, and you can see that the trends have been strong for the last 1 year. The stock has surged some 100%, right? But yeah, see, recent times there has been volatility in this stock. It is a high beta stock, highly cyclical, and it has had some volatility. But yes, see, there is a strong growth path ahead for this company, and in terms of the quality of its earnings, it seems to have a very strong value. It is a little bit overvalued in a sense in how much the trend has gone up, but the prospects going forward look very bright. So therefore, I would suggest that they can hold on to it, but definitely be cautious of the near-term volatility in this stock.
That's a caution stance coming in on the near-term volatility while the long-term outlook holds strong. But the next query that I have is coming in on Engineers India, another PSU counter. Sonam, what's your view coming in on Engineers India? This query is from Sumukha from Mysore, and she wants to know that what to do in this particular counter. She actually didn't share her buy price, but she wants to know the long-term outlook. And I believe that she's in a profit and she's wanting an advice that is this a good time to book out profits in Engineers India or continue to hold it?
No, I think this is again a very interesting stock, and I'm very happy that the women are booking up all these, hot stocks in the construction and manufacturing segment. See, again, it's a PSU stock, and PSUs have seen some volatility in terms of, again, it has had a very strong momentum. It is a little bit overvalued right now, but it is also under the radar of a lot of analysts. The ratings are decent. The stock has been volatile for sure. It is sensitive to currency fluctuations, oil price fluctuations. But definitely it's a high momentum pick. And again, you will have to definitely exercise some caution in the near term. But the growth story and the manufacturing story seems to be a strong tailwind right now in India. Right. So definitely be invested, but short term you have to be cautious, right?
Right. Short term, maybe a bit of a caution there as well. Let's move on to the next query. And Aditya, this one is from Ms. Jayashree. They're holding about 7 shares at a price of 28,246. They want to know the strategy if they are looking to add in an SIP form over the next few years. Would you suggest something for Abbott on that basis on the charts? Is it something that one could watch out for?
It's a very strong looking chart setup, and stock has outperformed its peers. Look at the way the stock has been going higher, and it's a good stock to do an SIP because year on year stock gives you positive returns. So she's picked a good stock for an SIP at current levels. Yes, I would recommend to start an SIP. On the downside, I think stock has good support around 24,000 to about 22,000. I don't see stock breaking those levels immediately. So if an SIP started at current levels, she will definitely get an averaging out effect. And once it starts its trend, I think stock can easily cross levels of 30,000 as well. So overall, it's a very good stock, strong looking chart setup, and a good candidate to go an SIP on.
All right, that's the take coming in on Abbott. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere as we come right back. All the women's out there, there are a lot many queries that are trickling in, and we're going to be addressing all of those. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now show, where we get you answers for all your stock-related queries. And today we're going to be catering to all the women investors out there. But before that, a quick look on the markets, because there's been a good recovery from the lowest point of the day, because we have seen Nifty getting quite volatile but seem to be recovering intraday. If we talk about Nifty 50, then 25 points of cut as of now is what we are seeing. In the intraday chart, you can see the recovery happening. And apart from that, for Nifty Bank as well, down about 300 points at one point in time, 150 points of cut is what we are seeing right now. So good recovery on the benchmark indices, and all these PSU counters are definitely taking it up. But other than that, let's get back to all your queries then. And the next query that I have, Aditya, let me take it from you. This query is from Sudha from Chennai. What she's saying is that she's new to the stock market and she's actually planning to invest rupees 2 lakh in the stock markets to begin her journey with. And she's wanting to keep that money for the next 2 years. So what should be the strategy, as well as how should she divide her money into different stocks as well as designer portfolio?
A very good question, Srishti, and this goes out to all the investors who are newly entering the market. You should definitely look at putting a part of your money in ETFs. That's a very strong recommendation, because if you are not a market savvy person, and if you can't do your analysis yourself, or maybe you don't have the time to devote to do proper analysis, you should stick to buying index ETFs. There are several ETFs which are traded on the market. They are just like stocks. You can buy them and start an SIP in that as well. So a couple of ETFs which I would recommend. One is definitely the Nifty ETF that you should look at. The second can be a Nifty Next 50 ETF. That is also something that she can look at. And the third, Bank Nifty ETF can also be looked at. So part of the money should definitely be allocated to these three ETFs, and you should not bother too much, because the index management happens by itself. Every quarter we see some stocks getting pulled into the index, and some stocks pulled out of the index. So that takes care of your stock specific activities. As far as the rest of this money is concerned, maybe she can allocate part of it to mid to large cap stocks. I would recommend maybe look at sectors which are going to give you consistent returns. Don't stick to your commodity driven sectors like a metal or an maybe commodity driven. Look for consumption and ones which are here to stay. IT can be something which can be looked at current levels. It's down and out. Nobody's talking about IT, Srishti, but I think given a longer term time horizon, IT will start to outperform at some point of time. Second sector she can definitely look at can be from the FMCG or consumer durable space, because that is something, consumption is something that is continuously going to grow. And third, of course, banking is something which also is going to continue to grow. So if she's not looking to put money in a bank ETF, maybe she can pick some of the large cap banking stocks, names like an ICICI, Axis, or HDFC Bank. She can look at these three alternatives as well.
Very detailed answer, and I'm sure that really helped our viewers on what they should be overall looking at as of now in terms of sectors as well. Sonam, this next query we have is from Gayatri from Chennai, and a couple of stocks that they've named. One is Sobha, Rainbow Children, Ambuja, and Aster DM. Out of this, if they want to go in for a long-term strategy, what is looking attractive, and where should they be? Which stock should they be looking at the current levels? I believe you're on mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No
Yeah,
worries.
so he named Sobha, Aster DM, and which one?
Aster DM, Rainbow Children, and Ambuja.
Okay, again, a lot of interesting names here. Rainbow is a hospital's stock. Then you have Aster, which is again in the hospital segment, and then she named Sobha in the construction and the real estate segment. And the last one was
Ambuja Cement, yeah.
The cement segment, right? See, I think again, a very interesting set of stocks. You have a couple of stocks from the pharma and the hospital segment, which I think, if you look at it, is going to be the focus area of investments by the government in the next few years, right? Irrespective of what happens in the election, I think pharmaceuticals and healthcare is where a lot of investments would come in. So these two stocks are definitely quite interesting. And also, looking at any sort of volatility in the market, you would see that the pharma and the hospital stocks would be relatively conservative. They're defensive stocks. They are there for every season, so they will not be impacted by volatility. So these are good stocks for you. Soba, again, in the real estate segment, has been an emerging stock. We've seen a very strong trend from the whole segment, especially from the particular stock also. So again, an interesting pick. And Ambuja Cement, in the cement segment, again, it's a cyclical thing. When you would see that the manufacturing push continues, you would see the cement stocks also do well. But even right now, you're seeing a strong trend. So I think she's chosen a good set of four stocks, and I think creating a healthy mix of these would make sense. Keep a couple of defensives, like you named the hospital stocks, and along with it, you keep these cyclical stocks, which will be driving the performance in cyclical times, right? So a lot of good picks. I won't have, any suggestions against these.
All these are good picks, but we have a lot of queries that needs to be answered today. So just a small request to both of our experts that just try to briefly answer and guide as many viewers as possible. And Aditya, coming to you for the next query, since Sonam was just touching upon the fundamentals of Ambuja Cement, a viewer named Smita has bought Ambuja Cement at a price of 646 rupees, and she wants a short-term view on the same. Currently, she is at a mild loss, I believe. So what to do in this one? Hold or exit, or look out for some other opportunities?
Because I feel there's a bit of a short-term rally which can follow through in the markets, and same we can see in Ambuja Cement as well. Maybe with a stop loss at 580, 585 is a good stop. So put a stop at 585 and hold on to it. She can see levels of 607 to about 610 on the upside. There she can look to exit from the stock.
Sonam, this next query is from Rima, long-term investor, and the time period to hold is 2 years. They want to know for the long term, which is a couple of stock names that they could look at currently for the long term.
See, again, it's a very interesting question. In the long term, I think, you could go with a mix of large and mid caps in the current scenario. If I were to name a few stocks, I would say, go with something in the banking or financial industry, right? So looking at like a ICICI Bank might make sense, or an Axis Bank. Along with it, I think you should definitely have exposure to the manufacturing and the electric manufacturing segment in India, which seems to be picking up the tailwind. So maybe something like a Siemens might be a good pick. You could look at autos, something like a Maruti or a Bajaj Auto might be a good pick. So, maybe sticking with these names for the long term might make sense.
All right, so that's the recommendation coming in from Sonam. But with this, viewers, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and we still have a lot many queries pending. So we will be answering those. So stay tuned for more.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's take a quick look at the market today. What's happening in terms of the market right now? We saw a slight bit of a recovery. At least it was trying to make a bit of a recovery there. So yes, we're keeping an eye out on that, though still the banking side seems like it's a bit more under pressure. Nifty Bank also still trading in the red, but like you can see, we are seeing it inch up, coming in at least a bit on the higher side, though the broader market's managing to hold on to the green, the small cap especially managing to hold on to good gains even as of now, trading comfortably on the positive side. The mid cap also up almost 0.2%, small cap up 0.6%, comfortably in the green, and that's the only shade of green today we're seeing on the screens coming in from the broader markets. But let's talk about IPOs, right? We have a lot of IPOs that have been coming, and today we're going to talk about a special IPO, TBO Tech, that is joining in with us, and we do have the management in the studio. We have Ankush as well as Gaurav joining in with us this morning. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining in with us on ET Now. IPO has opened up today. Anchor book looked interesting as well when I saw the numbers. So yes, that's starting off on a good note. But let's just talk about first in terms of the industry. Travel has been moving. COVID came, stopped us, and then there's no stopping. Yep. What's the outlook that you have for the company? How are you seeing it change as well?
So look, we operate in the global outbound travel space, right? So our specialty is that when somebody is traveling from their country to some other country, we play an important role over there, helping the travel agents craft these itineraries. Outbound travel is huge. You know, it's 1.5 billion outbound trips happened in 2019, similar numbers this year. And if you think about it, like more than India's population actually just travels overseas at a global scale. So that is the industry we are operating in. This industry grows by 6-7% every year. So 100 million more people travel every year overseas, right? So it's just like a mega phenomena.
All right, but if I talk about the company specifically and especially the earnings, since you were just highlighting that the industry is growing by 6-7%, but the travel is booming like anything, especially in the domestic market at least. But for your financials, how do you see the growth trajectory? Because I was just looking at the numbers and the kind of jump from 21, though it was a COVID hit, 22 to 23, there has been a phenomenal growth in your financials. So going ahead, what sort of a CAGR growth that you guys are penciling, and I know that you guys cannot talk numbers, but any hint on the kind of a growth that you foresee versus the industry?
I think the 3 years you're talking about, one is because we're coming out of COVID. So to be fair, you see that exponential growth in our numbers, which is for obvious reasons, right? But I think, as you rightly said, we can't comment. So I think safe would be to say that what we have done pre-COVID, you know, and we've been always growing at a good numbers, right? So I think that's something we'll hopefully continue now as we move in next years.
Okay, and you know, what about in terms of the funds that we're raising for the IPO that you're raising? Any specific purpose that we could be highlighting? What is it that mainly you will be using these funds for, just for the benefit of the viewers?
Yeah, so look, we are a platform business. Where like all platform businesses, our growth has 3 levers to it. Add more buyers on the platform, which we do through market expansion, right? So we operate in pretty much across the 5 continents. So there is going to be money spent on just building our market footprint. Okay. On the other end of the spectrum, we need to add more supply on the platform. What that means is more and more hotels, better rates on those hotels, but also new kinds of products, right? So our the traveler is evolving. So people are not just booking a flight or a hotel. They want transfer, sightseeing, packages. They want to book rail passes. So right, bringing new kinds of suppliers on the platform. And third is just improving the tech itself. It's an internet business. Huge investment goes into tech. And on all of these things, acquisitions are an important element for us, especially on buyer acquisition and supply acquisition. It's a very large fragmented industry. We've done 4 acquisitions in the past. We'll look for more opportunities in the future.
All right, but how is your company different from the competitors? Because in this industry that you're catering in, we are seeing a lot of players that are entering in. So how are you placed versus your competitors? And going ahead, since you were just talking about how you are investing in collaborating with other companies, making acquisitions. So which are the future growth areas that you foresee amongst your bouquet of things that will provide good growth in the times ahead?
So look, the way we look at growth is, and historically, because again, being a platform, there are network effects in our business, right? The more buyers you add on the platform, our sales grows faster than our buyer growth. And similarly, our sales grows faster than the number of hotels on the platform because it plays between each other. Okay. So given where we are today in a 2 trillion, so global outbound travel is a $2 trillion industry. We are roughly around $3 billion out of that $2 trillion, right? So the runway for growth is very large. But the fundamentals or the levers of growth are simply adding more supply on the platform and bringing more and more travel agents on the platform.
Right. You know, we are talking about the positives, we're talking about growth, but there are certain risks that come as well, right? Risk in terms of maybe the suppliers we were talking about, anything in terms of changing in terms of that. So what is the biggest risk that you have currently in terms of that one that you would want to make it a bit lighter? Because when I'm reading also, top 5 suppliers contribute around 60% to your GTV. So how does that shape up, and any other risks that you are trying to balance out?
So just to tell you on the 60%, there's one large supplier which is basically IATA, which is the clearing house for the airlines, which is about 30-40 airlines which fly out of India. So if I take that out, so I think we are pretty well de-risked with the supply. Just to answer your question, I think for us it's more, as we are growing into very aggressively in the global markets, the execution, for us as a management and as a company, not that we don't know what we are doing, but there can be some obstacles, as we move forward, apart from the geopolitical and certain situations which aren't in our control.
All right, but with this, Gaurav and Ankush, we'll let you go on that. And thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now, and wishing you all the best for the upcoming IPO. So that was the management of TVO Tech. The IPO opens today, and we just had the management with us. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today on the channel.
Thank you so much.
But with this, viewers, let's get back to answering all your stock-related queries then. And we have both of our experts with us, Aditya as well as Sonam online. And the next query that I have is coming in from Moshmi. And Sonam, Moshmi is a long-term investor and she wants a suggestion on 3 counters. Amongst these 3, any of the stock that you like for a long-term investment and a fresh investment as well. She's looking out for IRCTC, Zomato as well as Vodafone Idea. Any of the stock amongst these 3?
The best pick right now that everybody has is Zomato, right? I think this counter has shown very exceptional sort of execution, seems to be a very sticky business, not impacted by any cycle. So definitely, I think that's a good pick. But the other counters that she named, IRCTC is again a very interesting stock. It is definitely, has been in momentum with the whole rally in the railway and related segments. Definitely, we have to be cautious of this in the shorter term. But railways are here to stay for the long term, and you can allocate it to it for the long term. If you want my pick, right? I think Zomato would be a clear winner, right?
Moving on to the next query, and this is from Janvi from Bangalore, Aditya. They are holding 20 shares of L&T. Price is 3,583 rupees. Should they add more at the current levels? What are the charts indicating?
Recommend to add at current levels. I see a bit of a distribution pattern here. Stock can test levels of 3260, 3250 on the downside. Maybe those will be good levels to add fresh. At current levels, just stay put, avoid adding fresh, let it cool down further and then maybe look for a fresh addition.
All right. The next query that I have is coming from Vibha from Ranchi. And Aditya, she wants an advice on Poonawalla FinCorp. She's holding 100 shares from a price of 497 rupees. And she has another query on CIE Automotive, holding 100 shares from a price of 485 rupees. Both of these, is that a hold, sell or invest more?
So Poonawalla FinCorp, we'll address that first, Srishti. I think there will be some bit of profit taking there. Stock has already seen a decent up move. I think there is a bit of a correction which is due in the stock. Maybe closer to about 450, 440 is where I see the stock heading to. She can immediately place a stop at 460. If that is broken, she can exit for once and maybe look to add again when stock test levels of 440, 430. Talking of CIE, I think this is a good, interesting stock to hold in your portfolio. If she already has it, maybe she can continue to hold. If she's looking to add fresh at current levels, she can do that as well. I see a good up move which will come through in the next few trading sessions or maybe weeks. So at current level, she can look to buy. Look for a target of 550, 575 on the upside with a stop at 450 on the downside. I think this is a good, interesting buy at current levels.
Okay. The next query is from Poonam from Punjab, and Sonam, this one is on Embassy Office Park. This is what they're holding, 50 shares at a price of 367 rupees, and Agrotech Food, 100 shares at a price of 774. What should they be doing with both these stocks now?
So I think Embassy Office Park, again, you've seen a big rally, but there seems to have been a correction in the short term, right? I think, it's a very interesting stock to hold on for the long term. The fundamentals definitely are strong. In terms of the business, real estate companies, the stock seems to be a strong pick. And then, once the rate cuts happen, you would see that boost come into this stock. In terms of the second stock, which was, if you can repeat that.
So one was Embassy, other one was Agrotech Food.
Agrotech, right?
Yeah.
Agrotech, I think again, it's been a volatile segment. It's a very small stock, right? So in the current environment, you have to be cautious with the smaller stocks. I think there has been a lot of volatility in the market where the very small stocks have been impacted. In terms of agrotech, we're seeing that agriculture and FMCG segment struggle a bit. So I would tell you to be a little bit cautious with this counter, right?
then moving on to the next query. This one is from B. Soumya, and Aditya, this one is a short-term query. She's holding Jain Irrigation. It's the first counter that she's holding from a price of 63 rupees. So any advice on this one? And she also has Deepak Fertilizers from a price of 500 rupees. She's looking out for short-term targets in both of these names.
Jain Irrigation, she can continue to hold on, Shrishti. I think there is a bit of a consolidation which happened in the stock. It's on its way up again. Immediate resistances are at 73 odd levels. If that is taken out decisively on good volumes, I think stock can test levels of 90 as well on the upside. So I would recommend hold on to it, put a stop close to about 56 odd levels, and the first target will be 73. Above that, 85 to about 90 will be the target. As far as Deepak Fertilizers is concerned, it's still going through a consolidation phase. We did see a sharp rally last week, and now this week again, stock has pulled off from that highs of 640 odd levels. So interesting. I would watch out for 520 on the downside. That should be a stop loss. If that is broken, I'll exit the trade. If that holds on, maybe stock can bounce back to levels of 620, 640. Still early days. I think there'll be a bit more consolidation in Deepak Fertilizer at current levels.
Okay, that's the word on Deepak Fertilizers. But with that, let's just slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with all your stock-related queries after the break. Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. And let's get started with the rapid fire format for the taking your stock related queries. And this next query we have is on Coal India. Aditya, I'm going to take this to you. It's a short-term view, 3-month view. The viewer is holding Coal India at price of 267. Anu wants to know what she should be doing with it.
67, I heard that right?
Yes, 267. I beg your pardon. 267.
So she's sitting on excellent profit. Congratulations to her first. And if she has a very short-term view, I would recommend book out partial profit. Stock is sitting at overbought levels. On the downside, maybe she can place a stop loss at 440 for the rest balance. So at least 40-50% she should exit because she's sitting on extremely good gains. On the upside, stock can test levels of 480, 495 again.
All right, Aditya, once again coming to you because Gargi from West Bengal wants to have a technical view on ABFRL. How is the stock looking like on this one, and any trades that you can help her with?
Definitely very strong looking chart setup, Shrishti. If looking for a fresh entry, these are good levels to accumulate the stock for. 240 to 235 should be a stop loss. 280 on the upside will be the first target. If that is taken out, 300 would be the next target. It's a strong looking chart setup. She's going to look at fresh entry at current levels.
Okay, so now we have Sudharani from Hyderabad who's holding 7,000 shares of IOC at a price of 166 rupees. For the long term, what should they be doing with this? Should they continue to hold the stock, maybe add more? What's the view?
I'll disclose this. I'm also holding this stock, so we are in the same boat. Yeah, I think there's been crude prices on the rise, and this stock definitely gains a lot from that. The stock has picked up momentum, and being a public sector bank, it is not overvalued in terms of valuations. Also, it's very fairly valued. No problem with any sort of volatility. Definitely, short term there could be a little bit of stress, but I think it's a great pick for the long term, especially in the current environment where the crude prices seem to be on the uptrend, right?
Next query is from Anuradha. She's holding Burger King from a price of 150 rupees. Is that a hold at this point in time, or can she go ahead and buy more?
That's for me, Shrishti?
No, that's for Sonam.
Okay.
Is this Berger Paints?
No, restaurant brand Asia.
Okay, understood. See, again, I think it's an interesting pick because the QSR segment is on the rise, and again, it would be very, very less sensitive to any sort of volatility that might creep up into the market. So definitely hold on to it for the long term. This whole segment itself is supposed to have a very strong CAGR growth in India in the longer term. So it's a good pick to go with.
And Aditya, I'm just going to quickly ask you one thing. Okay, ITC 150 shares 250 rupees is what they're holding at. Continue to hold.
Absolutely. When you add, if you want to add at current levels, 430 should be a stop loss. 465, 470 should be your targets.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Aditya, as well as Sonam, for joining in with us. But with that, we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. So it's a goodbye from Shrishti, myself, as well as the team who put this show together.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.